Hello, so I am going to talk about the family budget. Um, my husband and I decided that we should really crack down on our budget, especially because we're expecting baby number two in February. So it's like, why make a resolution to start 2014 when we can start right now? I never understood that, why people make New Year resolutions to start in January when what you're planning on doing as a goal should start as soon as that goal comes to mind. So we decided to start this month of December to kind of get ourselves in the habit of having a budget going and committing to the budget instead of waiting until January. We decided that we should really stick to a good budget because we only have, our main source of incomes only comes from my husband, and he makes pretty good money. And every time we look at our bank account, we always wonder, where all the money is going when, we don't have that many bills and stuff like that. So we decided to start tracking our spending and where every dollar goes, which is very important no matter if you're single or married, that is very important to track where every dollar goes. So we decided to get that going. Well, I decided to, because it's like I'm the wife. I control all the finances and he just brings the money in. So, and I just let him know what I come up with as a plan to start, kind of pushing our family in the way that we want to go financially. Because back in October, we started home-based businesses, and I'm a woman that believes in multiple streams of income and, living a comfortable life and not struggling to pay bills and live from check to check and, just live comfortably. And I want to provide that for my children also. So we decided to start this budget to track every dollar and to cut back on certain things, and not certain things like eating out, because that's what I'm going to be talking about today, my first video for my family budget. But eating out and how much money we actually spend, and cutting back our cell phone bills, cable bills, looking into your car insurance and how you can get lower payments and stuff like that. Just less money going out, more money coming in. So that's what our budget is all about. So when the new year starts, we'll be pretty comfortable with this plan. We've always talked about this, but it was always the problem with committing to it. So I started it 2 weeks ago, and we really sat down and looked into our money and things like that. And so far, the meal plan has been going great. We haven't been spending that much money. So I'm going to start with our meal plan. So I was in a budgeting class a couple weeks ago with my mom for one of the businesses that I started to get into, to work from home, to be home with my children, of course. So, and we started businesses also to have my husband home too, to be, with our children. We don't want to just throw our kids in daycare and that's that, and we have to go work 40 hours a week and barely spend time with them. That's definitely not the life we want. So, in a budgeting class I was in a few weeks ago, they were talking about a financial analysis, like really sitting down and looking at where every dollar goes, and setting up a budget for every month, a month in advance. So I went to this class last month. So the way you would do it is you would sit down and write out the budget for December. So then when the bills start coming in for December, you already know where it's going to go because you already wrote it down, and it helps you put money aside every week for the bills that's coming up in November. So you're not paying bills like the day of, which is the problem that me and my husband have. Like, we'll be paying the bills the day of, even though we know way months before, like, these are reoccurring bills. We should already have the money set aside for these bills. It's like the day of the bills come, it's like we pay them. I don't know if you guys, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it's just the point of setting your budget in advance. So it's like for this month of December, we'll have our budget already set out for January to know where money is going to go, what extra money we're going to have, and things like that, like to put in savings. And since we have the new baby coming, what extra money we'll have so we can be able to go buy things for her. And then we have my son who's 3, so we have to set aside money for him and, you know, other little things. And there's certain things that may come up. So especially now when you're preparing for a baby. So I started with a meal plan because after sitting down and looking over my budget, looking over my bank account, which I suggest every single person should do weekly, you should sit down and look over your statements and where your money went. And I'm sure every bank now offers that online. Like, I bank with Wells Fargo, so we have a thing called, I think it's Money Map, and it shows exactly where all our money is going, and it's categorized and everything. You can look back months prior. So I sat down the other day and actually looked where, like, how much money we spent on food eating out, and we've actually spent $1,100 from July to November. So that's 4 months. 4 months we've spent $1,100, and I thought that was really ridiculous. I know, like, you can't help when you're going to eat out sometimes because you may be out and about and you need to eat. But when you have the option to just be home and cook and not go out to eat, like, say if you're just sitting at home all day and it's like, man, I'm hungry. It's like you can go in the kitchen and cook. But because you don't want to do that, you don't want to wait for something to thaw out to cook or whatever the case may be, it's easier to get in your car and go and just buy something really quick and come back home. And that was our problem. So after looking over that for 4 months, we spent $1,100. And I just told my husband, I'm like, this is really ridiculous. Like, we spend too much money on food, eating out, when we could be cooking and, like, saving more than half of that to go on other bills. That $1,100 pays like 1 month of our bills. So yeah, we could be paying a month of bills in advance if we weren't eating out, like, you know, we do. So this month of December, I decided to start a meal plan, which I heard about in my the budgeting training class that I was in, and I decided to give it a shot. I mean, I like to cook. It was just the fact of being lazy and not wanting to cook. And my husband doesn't cook that much. So I decided to start a meal plan, especially for when the baby comes, which is like 9 weeks away. She'll be here in February. So I decided to start the meal plan. So I don't know if you could see that, but there it is. Our meal plan that I decided to start. I just go online, write everything out. It's a lot of scratching out things and stuff like that. But I decided to start this and just write out meals I think 2 weeks, every 2 weeks I'll plan the meals. So I write out the meals for the first 2 weeks of December. And then when we go grocery shop, I'll pick up everything for the first 2 weeks to make sure I have everything. So I have no excuse not to cook because everything is there. And I'll write out the meal plans and what are we going to have for that day. You know, I ask my husband if he has any kind of request, but he usually eats everything that I cook. So I'll plan the first 2 weeks. And now since we're in the end of the second week of December, I'm actually planning out the second half of the month. So to go pick up those things to have in the refrigerator. So the first 2 weeks actually went really well. I think we only went out and bought food probably, and I actually write it down in the calendar when we buy food. And we've only done that 2 times so far. I want to say 3 so far. 3 times so far in the last 2 weeks, which is pretty good compared to almost buying food every day instead of cooking. So we been doing pretty good. So I kind of, at first I was going to type it out. Like I think you could see kind of where I started to type it out here. But I've learned that doesn't work. So I started to type it out to have it all written out. But things do change according to what you cook. So we have leftovers sometimes for 2 or 3 days because sometimes I won't eat the leftovers the next day or whatever. But my husband will. But I'm learning that to just print the calendar out and write it in with pencil so you can go back and erase and make changes and stuff like that, because I made a lot of changes on the first one, which everything takes time. So, but like I said, so far it's been going so good, and going on the second week, well, the end of the second week, and I'm pretty much on schedule. Like right now I have my pot roast actually going. I got up like 8 o'clock this morning and got it all together and threw it in the crock pot, and it's going to be cooking all day, and it'll be done in time for dinner. So that works out. And I actually really like cooking. I find it very calming, I guess, especially now because I'm pregnant and I just need things to do to kind of keep me at ease and keep me calm. So I really like cooking, and I think the last 2 weeks is the most I have cooked in a long time. So it's actually working out pretty well for me, and I like to see the expression on my husband's and my son's face when I cook things, and they be like, My husband will tell me it's good, and my son will be like, that's good. I like whatever I cook, chicken. I like chicken. And I'm like, okay, so that means he likes it. So it's been turning out pretty good for me. So I think the end of the month, probably the 31st or maybe the 1st of next month, I'm going to do a video about how much money we've saved on eating out compared to November. So I'm going to look at how much money we spent eating out in November and how much money we spent eating out in this month of December. And I'm going to try to keep this up as much as possible. And I know February is going to be kind of crazy, but I think I'll be able to find time. And me and my husband actually talk about how our meal plans are going to work for February, since we'll be having the baby if she doesn't decide to come earlier. But for February, I told him, like, hopefully he can take over cooking most of the meals because he really doesn't cook that much. So hopefully he'll take that over, and he's saying a lot of frozen foods or whatever is going to be in there. So I'm going to make sure I write out a plan that's pretty simple for him, and hopefully he can help me out with that when the baby comes home. So like I said, I think this is a good idea. And for me to be in the second week, like I said, it is working out pretty well. I would recommend, like, every family do this. It doesn't matter how much money you have. I would recommend every family do this because eating out is getting more and more expensive. And like now, me and my husband will go eat out. We're spending at least, I don't know, from like $15 to $20. Even if we go to like a place like Checkers or just like quick fast food where we get 2 meals, we're spending like $12 and up just for 2 meals because everything's getting so expensive. So it's like it's time to like really start just saving and being wise about where the money goes and stuff like that. So if we're spending $15 on just going to McDonald's or going to Checkers or buying food from the mall, then if we go sit down and eat, we're at like $30 and $40. So depending on where, like if you go to a buffet, of course, like Fred's or go to Corral, you spend like $25 to $30. But if you go sit at Chili's or we like to go to PF Chang's and stuff like that, you're spending at least $30 to $40 and maybe more. So we decided that the days that we, maybe date nights, we'll go out and sit somewhere and eat or kind of plan when we're going to spend money on food so we can set a budget and go to a place where we don't spend that much money. So I think this meal plan is really good. And I think I'm going to post a video of I did a little video of my pot roast earlier just to show how quick it was to throw it in a crock pot and stuff like that. And, when you think about cooking at home versus eating out, it's like it saves gas, of course. It saves money on your gas. And, it saves you time. You can still be home getting things done and don't have to load everybody up in the car or wait for somebody to go out and come back with the food or whatever the case may be. You're cooking, so you're home and you're getting fresh, hearty food made with love. So I think it's a good thing. So I would suggest this meal plan to everyone. So I'm calling it our Family Budget 101. And I started out with our meal plans. And so I'm going to do another video about how we cut back on our cell phones. We just recently cut back on our cable. I finally found a solution. I'm so glad. And we cut back on our cable. And I'm working on cutting back on our got it wrote down right here. I'm actually working on cutting back on some other things and bringing in more money. So I'll be talking about that too, like starting your own business and some other ways to bring in extra income. For me, I don't work, so my husband is just the only one working right now, and I have to, be helpful too with the income also, even though I'm not working and I don't plan on going back to work for anyone after I have this baby. So we're working on getting my husband home, like I said. So I have to work on bringing in different sources of income for us from home. So I'll be doing more videos about that. So I hope this video was helpful, and try out the meal plan. And like I said, I'm on my third week actually of the meal plan, which is here, and to go grocery shop and stuff like that this weekend while I'm out. So I think this would be really helpful for a lot of people. So this is why I'm doing this video, of course, because I want to be able to help people out. So I'll talk to you guys soon.